My beloved child, stop right where you are. I know what you are carrying as a parent. I know the specific weight of loving someone with your whole heart, completely, unconditionally, with a vulnerability that no other relationship produces, and watching that person struggle, or walk away, or be in pain that you cannot fix. I know the particular agony of parental love that has nowhere to go, that wants to protect and cannot, that wants to reach and finds the distance too great, that wants to heal and is powerless to do so. The weight of what you carry for your children, whether they are small and dependent, or grown and distant, or somewhere in the complicated middle, is one of the heaviest things a human being can carry. And I have not looked away from it for a single moment. You did not find this message by accident. I have been watching you parent through this season, whatever season it is, and I see what it has cost you. The parent of the prodigal child who waits and prays and watches the door every day. The parent of the child with the diagnosis that changes everything. The parent whose child has walked away from faith and whose heart breaks with every passing month. The parent in the broken family trying to hold something together that keeps falling apart. The parent who grew up without good parenting and is terrified of repeating what was done to them. The parent who has done everything right, or tried to, and is watching things go wrong anyway. I see every version of you. Everyone. And I have something to say to each of you today. I need to say something at the very beginning that I know many parents in crisis desperately need to hear. Your child's struggles are not entirely your fault. I am not saying your parenting has been perfect. No parents has been, including the most devoted and the most intentional. But the narrative that says every difficulty your child is experiencing is a direct result of your failures, as a parent is one of the enemy's most effective tools against the people who love their children most. Children are not simply the product of their parenting. They are image bearers with their own freedom, their own choices, their own wounds from sources beyond your control, their own journey with me that I am working in ways that are not always visible to you. You are a significant influence. You are not the only one. And the guilt that says otherwise is a weight I did not put on you, and I am asking you to put down. I also want to speak to the parents who are doing this alone, single parents carrying a load that was designed for two, doing it with love and determination and chronic exhaustion, always aware of the gaps, always conscious of what their children are not getting because of the circumstances they are in. I see you. I see the impossible math of not enough time and not enough money and not enough of yourself to go around, and I see the love that keeps you going anyway. You are not failing your children. You are loving them under circumstances that no one was designed to navigate alone. And I am with you in the navigation in ways that I want you to be more aware of today. Stay here with me. I know that parenting pain has a particular quality. It is the pain that never fully goes away, that is never fully off, because the love that produces it is never fully off. You cannot stop caring about your children. You cannot close the door on the worry the way you might close the door on other concerns. It lives with you, travels with you, wakes you at 3 a.m, accompanies you through every ordinary moment of the day with its undercurrent of concern. I designed the love. I know what it produces. And I am speaking into it today not to diminish the concern, but to give it a context, the context of a God who loves your children even more than you do, who is not absent from their story even when it looks like nothing is happening, and who is asking you to partner with him in trusting what you cannot control. My child, I want to go into the specific fears that parenting produces, because parental anxiety has a particular and relentless quality, and I want to speak to the specific shapes it takes, rather than addressing it only in general terms. Because each fear deserves to be named and met with the truth that is specific to it. The fear for the child's physical safety never completely leaves a parent. From the moment a child is born, the awareness of their vulnerability becomes a permanent feature of the parent's inner landscape. When they are small, it is the fear of the illness, the accident, the developmental concern. When they are older, it is the fear of the roads they drive on, and the choices they make, and the people they trust, and the world that does not always treat them with the care they deserve. For the parents of children with medical needs or physical vulnerabilities, this fear has specific and concrete content that makes it even more immediate. I want to speak into every version of this fear with the same truth. Your child is known to me. Every cell, every vulnerability, every moment of their life is within my awareness and my care. I cannot promise you that nothing hard will ever touch them. But I can promise you that nothing touches them outside of my knowledge and my love, and that I am working in every circumstance of their life, including the hard ones, with a purpose and a care that goes beyond what you can see. The fear for the child's faith is one of the most painful fears a believing parent can carry. You raised them in the truth. You prayed over them. You tried to model what it looks like to walk with me. And now they have walked away from faith, from church, from the God you introduced them to in their childhood, and you watch from the outside, wondering whether the seeds planted will ever take root, whether you failed somehow, whether they are lost in a way that is permanent. I want to speak to this fear directly. The seeds you planted are not wasted. The prayers you have prayed are not lost. I have heard everyone. I am working in your child's life in ways that are not currently visible to you, pursuing them with the same relentless love with which I pursued you before you were fully ready to receive me. Their journey with me is not over. It may look very different from what you expected, but I am not finished with them. Do not stop praying. Do not stop loving. And do not mistake the current chapter for the final one. The fear that you have damaged your children, that your own wounds, your own failures, your own limitations as a parent have done harm that cannot be undone, is one that many parents carry in silence, too ashamed to voice it. I want to address it with full honesty. Your parenting has not been perfect. No parent's has. There are ways in which your own unhealed wounds have acted out in your parenting. There are where children have been affected by your limitations. This is true of every parent who has ever lived. And I want to say two things simultaneously. I see this clearly and I am at work in it. I am a redeemer. I take what was broken and I work with it in your children's lives and in yours. The ways your parenting fell short are not outside my ability to address in your children's lives. I can heal what was caused by your limitation. And I am asking you to bring your guilt to me rather than carrying it alone, to receive the forgiveness I offer, and to become the more healed version of yourself that can parent more fully from that healing. The fear for the child who is making destructive choices, who is in the addiction, the destructive relationship, the path that you can see is going to cost them dearly, is one of the most helpless feelings a parent can experience. You can see what they cannot see. You can see where the road leads. And you are powerless to make them see it or to change the direction. I want to speak to this specific helplessness. The powerlessness you feel is real, and it is appropriate, because you were never given the power to determine another person's choices, even the choices of your own child. What you were given is the power to love, to pray, to remain available, to model what you want them to find their way back to, and to trust me with what your love alone cannot accomplish. Your child's freedom is real, and so is my pursuit of them. Both are in operation simultaneously. And I want to speak to the parent who is grieving the child they lost, to death, or to estrangement, or to the version of their child that existed before illness, or addiction, or some other devastating change took who they were, and replaced them with someone the parent barely recognizes. This grief is profound, and it deserves to be fully honored. The loss of a child in any form is one of the deepest losses a human being can experience. I am not rushing you through it, but I am sitting with you in it, and I have something to say about what I hold and what I am doing that I want you to hear. I want to speak now to the lies that parenting fear generates, because they are specific and they are powerful, and they keep parents in a state of chronic anxiety that exhausts them and sometimes damages the very relationships they are trying to protect. The first lie is that your child's outcome is entirely in your hands. That if you just do everything right, the right schools, the right influences, the right conversations at the right times, the right boundaries, the right amount of freedom, you can guarantee a good outcome for your child. This lie produces an exhausting perfectionism in parenting and a devastating guilt when things go wrong despite your best efforts. My child, your children are not products you manufacture. They are people I made with their own freedom, their own identity, their own journey with me. Your parenting matters enormously. It is not determinative. The most loving, most devoted, most prayerful parents in the world have children who make choices that break their hearts. This is not always a failure of the parenting. It is often simply the reality of freedom. And freedom, even when it goes wrong, is something I value enough to have given it to every human being, including your child. The second lie is that loving your child means feeling responsible for fixing everything that is wrong in their life. That the appropriate response to your child's pain is to find a way to take it away, and that if you cannot take it away, you have somehow failed in the fundamental task of parenting. But my child, the love I am calling you to for your children is not the love that removes all difficulty. It is the love that stays present through the difficulty, that does not fix what needs to be experienced, that allows the consequences that need to be allowed, that trusts me with the pain that is part of your child's own growth and formation. The parent who rescues their child from every difficulty raises a child who is not equipped for the difficulties that will come when the parent is not there to rescue them. Staying present is not the same as fixing everything, and sometimes staying present while not fixing is the hardest and the most loving thing a parent can do. The third lie is that if you pray hard enough and believe strongly enough, your child will be protected from all harm. That faith is a force field that, properly applied, keeps the bad things from reaching your children. This is one of the most damaging lies in Christian parenting culture, because when the bad thing happens anyway, and for many parents it does, the conclusion is that your faith was insufficient, your prayer was inadequate, you did not believe correctly or persistently enough. My child, I do not use your children as leverage on your faith. Difficult things happen to children of faithful parents because we live in a broken world in which I have chosen to honor human freedom, even when that freedom produces harm. Your faith does not guarantee your child's immunity from the consequences of living in a fallen world. But it does mean that I am present in everything that touches your child, working in ways you cannot always see, using even the painful things in my larger purpose for them. The fourth lie is that the estranged child, or the child who has walked away, is beyond reach. That the silence, the distance, the hostility, the apparent completeness of their rejection of you, or of faith, that these things indicate a permanent state rather than a current one. My child, I have reached people who were further away than your child. I have turned people around who seemed completely unreachable. I have restored estranged relationships that seemed irreparably broken. The current state of the relationship with your child is not the final state. I am at work in the silence. I am pursuing in the distance. And I am asking you to keep the light on, to remain available, to keep the door open, to not respond to their distance with a distance of your own that would be harder to bridge when the time comes for them to turn around. The fifth lie is that you are alone in parenting your children, that the responsibility rests entirely on you, that I am a passive observer of your parenting struggles rather than an active participant, that the gap between what your children need and what you are able to provide is simply your problem to manage as best you can. My child, I am the father of your children before you are. I love them with a love that exceeds yours, as impossible as that seems from inside your love for them. I am actively involved in their lives, in their development, in the working out of my purposes for them. You are my partner in their upbringing, not their sole provider. And the partnership I am inviting you into, where you bring your effort and your love and your best wisdom, and I bring what only I can bring, is more than sufficient for what your children need. My beloved, I want to speak now about what it practically looks like to parent in genuine partnership with me, not as a theory, but as a lived practice that changes the quality of both your parenting and your peace. Because the anxiety that many parents carry is at least partly the result of trying to carry alone what was designed to be carried in partnership with me. The first practice is daily, specific, faith-filled prayer for each of your children. Not the perfunctory mention of them in a general prayer, but the deliberate, specific, trusting intercession that brings each child by name before me, with their specific situation and their specific needs, and the specific fears you carry for them. Prayer for your children is not just a spiritual discipline. It is the act by which you transfer the weight of their lives from your shoulders to mine, not by becoming less invested, but by placing your investment where it can actually make a difference. I respond to the prayers of parents for their children. I am moved by them. The prayers you pray for your children are not falling into empty air. They are gathering in heaven, and they are producing effects in your children's lives that you will not always be able to trace, but that are real. The second practice is learning the difference between what is yours to do and what is mine to do in your children's lives. There are things I am asking you to do. Be present, be consistent, model the values you want them to absorb, create the environment in which I can work, speak truth with love, maintain the relationship even when they push against it. And there are things that are mine to do: change hearts, produce conviction, work in the unseen places of their inner life, pursue them in the ways that only I can pursue. The parent who tries to do both, who tries to produce in their children the inner transformation that is only mine to produce, exhausts themselves and damages the relationship in the process. Know what is yours. Do it faithfully. Trust me with the rest. The third practice is staying connected to your own inner life and your own healing, because the quality of your parenting is directly related to the quality of your own inner health. The parent who is doing their own work, addressing their own wounds, growing in their own faith, receiving healing for the things in their own history that have been acting out in their parenting, is a qualitatively different parent from the one who is trying to parent from an unexamined and unhealed place. The best thing you can do for your children, beyond the direct things you do for them, is to become more fully the healed and whole person I am making you. The work you do on yourself is not selfish. It is generative. It produces fruit in your children that no amount of focused parenting effort can produce on its own. The fourth practice, and this is perhaps the most difficult, is learning to release your children to me without abandoning them to their circumstances. There is a crucial difference between releasing and abandoning. Abandoning is disengaging, pulling back, washing your hands of the responsibility in the relationship. Releasing is a specific act of trust, a deliberate, repeated choice to take your hands off the outcome, to stop trying to control what is not yours to control, to entrust the child and their future to me, while remaining fully present and fully loving in the relationship. Released love is often more powerful than clutched love because it removes the anxiety that clutching produces and replaces it with the kind of free, secure love that your children most need to receive. The fifth practice is maintaining hope for your children, regardless of their current circumstances. Not denial of the reality of what is happening, but the active choice to hold on to the long view, the view that sees your child's story as still being written, that refuses to read the current chapter as the final one, that keeps a space open for the turn that has not yet happened. Hope for your children is not wishful thinking. It is an act of faith in a God who specializes in turning stories around. And the hope you maintain, even when everything argues against it, is a form of love that reaches your children in ways that nothing else can. My beloved child, I want to close by speaking about what I am actually doing in your children's lives right now, because I am not absent from them, not passive in their stories, not waiting for them to find their own way without my involvement. I am at work, and I want to give you eyes to see some of what that work looks like. I am pursuing your wandering child. Right now, in ways you cannot see, I am pursuing the child who has walked away. I am arranging encounters, placing people in their path, creating circumstances that are designed to produce the same kind of moment that brought you back to me when you were where they are now. The pursuit is patient and it is persistent, and it is creative in ways that human effort cannot be. I know your child, every wound, every need, everything that would reach them in a way that nothing else could, and I am working with that knowledge. Keep praying. The pursuit is active. I am working in the family circumstances you did not choose. The divorce that broke the family structure your children needed. The financial crisis that removed opportunities you wanted to give them. The move that took them from the community where they were thriving. The illness that changed everything. I am not the author of these circumstances, but I am at work within them, redeeming what I did not send, bringing purpose out of what seemed only destructive, building in your children the very qualities that the difficulty, painful as it is uniquely able to develop. Children who grow up in difficult circumstances, when they are loved and supported through those circumstances, often develop resilience and depth, and a quality of character that easier childhoods do not produce. I am not wasting what your family has been through. I am building your children's own faith, not the borrowed faith of their childhood, not the second-hand belief that comes from growing up in a believing family, but their own, personal, tested, genuinely theirs encounter with me. This process sometimes requires the deconstruction of what was merely inherited before the genuine personal faith can be built. And that deconstruction is frightening to watch from the outside because it looks like loss. But it is often preparation. The child who goes through the questioning and the doubt and the testing and comes out the other side with a faith that is genuinely their own is more rooted and more resilient than the one who simply absorbed yours without ever making it personal. Trust the process, even when it looks like loss. I am giving your children what you could not give them. This is perhaps the most important thing I want to say to the parent who is conscious of the gaps, who knows that what they provided was not enough in specific and significant ways. I am a father who fills gaps. What your children needed that you did not have to give, the security, the affirmation, the consistent presence, the modeling of healthy love, I am providing in other ways, through other people, through their own encounter with me. I am not limited to what you were able to offer. I work with what you provided, and I supply what you could not. Your insufficiency does not determine your children's destiny. I do. And I am at work in you, making you the parent your children need you to be, not the perfect parent that does not exist, but the increasingly healed and present and genuine parent whose love for them is the most powerful force in their lives outside of my own. The growth you are experiencing in this hard season of parenting is real. The wisdom you are developing, the patience you are building, the love that is being deepened and refined by the difficulty of this. These are being woven into who you are as a parent in ways that will bear fruit in your children's lives. Do not despise the season. It is making you. I want to speak a word of blessing over your children now, each one, by name in your heart, as you read this. I speak my pursuit over the ones who have walked away. I speak my healing over the ones who are hurting. I speak my protection over the ones who are in danger. I speak my purpose over the ones who seem lost. I speak my love over every one of them, not your love through me, but my own, direct, personal, eternal love for each child I knit together in your womb and breathe life into and set on this earth for purposes that are still unfolding. They are mine before they are yours. And what is mine I do not abandon. Not ever. They are held, my beloved parent. Your children are held, and so are you.